Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is the second session of our Mystery Till We Have Faces for Apocalypse Keys. This session is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community. You can find out more about that at openhearthgaming.com. We have these videos on our collected webpage, and also those get converted into a podcast. And there's an RSS feed for all the videos that people submit get done as an audio only format. We also have a new second channel that includes our various seminars and talks, but also our Open Hearth podcast. So there's my plug right now for that. So uh, before we kind of go to the setup, what we learned last time, where we're at, where everything is at. I want to go around and we'll have everybody tell me what impulse you want to have, your XP question. But I also want to revisit something on your character and ask you a question about that. So let me start with Samuel. Samuel, which of those impulses do you want to pick for today?
Since we are nearing the end of our run, I think I need to go away from just learning about my prophecy. I think I would like to entangle another monster with my prophecy.
Okay. Okay. And the other question I have is right now, what is your feeling about what the darkness demands of you? What form is that taking? How is that in the back of your mind? That is the thing that comes to, when you have breaks. So what is that like right now? We certainly saw a little bit a manifestation of that last time.
Mhm. Me specifically, I like with the two sessions that we have left, I would like to see my nemesis to show up and to tempt me.
Okay.
And again, like to actually be the more life affirming, more humane of the two,
Okay.
and reminding me of all the authoritarian bullshit that I used to do in my past.
Okay. I think that is more than reasonable. Amanda, what did you want for your impulse today?
I think I was going to, I think I was going to open my mind or heart to another monster
Okay.
because that's always fun. Like,
All right. And tell us about uh, what it is that the darkness is demanding of you and like how we've seen that or how you are imagining it right now.
well, the darkness demands that I should meet my cruel maker and open a permanent portal to a dark realm. And I have refrained from trying to open any kinds of portals. I might have been not too careful about that in the showdown last time. But it went well, didn't it? And I am very, very divided on if whether I want to meet my maker or not. Whether I'm ready to meet my maker, I don't feel I am, but maybe that gets forced on me, or
Okay.
at least some remnant of that gets forced on me.
Excellent. Wendell, what would you like for your impulse?
I would like to offer kindness at great cost to myself.
Ooh, nice. Nice. And what is it that the darkness is asking of you, like, and how do you think we want to be seeing that?
Uh, we've seen quite a few of these like spectral images of others that like the Polaroid things were basically the things I would likely create if I were to create someone like me. And I think the darkness in me is just stirring and wanting some of that.
Nice. Nice. And then, Rosebud, what would you like for your impulse?
Um, for my impulse, I'm going to switch to uh, did you let yourself believe you could be loved?
Ooh,
Because right at the moment, Rosebud is feeling optimistic about the team.
okay. Okay. And what is it that the darkness is asking you, this darkness in the back of your mind?
Um, Rosebud is having large questions about who the team would like her to be, or like him to be, or like they to be, depending on which moment. And so I'm gonna say something else that would make me perfect because it's not so much the issue of how do I form myself, but how do I respond to something outside of myself to be loved.
Okay. All right. Uh, so to frame up where what we did last time, we started out, of course, with the uh, looking at division and doing some scenes there, introducing Rosebud into the team. You have been whisked away to Barcelona for this current mission by way of Glasgow because Paris is currently burning. So you weren't able to go through that gate. The basic briefing is that there is an active seminary in Barcelona that also serves as kind of a local college for non-seminary students who are studying theology, biblical studies, and so on. It is a notable place because there's also a kind of uh, uh, psychiatric care facility, life care facility for people who are known as returners. These are people who were whisked away to another world by an extra-dimensional entity, harbinger, creature, spent time in that other place, and then escaped or were booted back to this world. And they have a number of people who they are attempting to help reorient themselves to society and living their daily lives. What has occurred over the last several days is there have been three deaths, murders, killings that have occurred that have been notable in that shortly after the bodies have been discovered, they the corpses themselves have changed, have shifted into flower petals and have kind of vanished, leaving no good forensic trace evidence. The first person that died was a student here. The second person who died was a visiting scholar here to look at the records on campus. And the third person who died was one of these returners. And uh, that kind of really set off alarm bells with division at this point. You arrived and you spoke with two sort of faces for the university. The first of these being Chancellor Solares, who is a non-church civilian who was brought in a number of years ago to kind of get this school in order and make it a little more financially viable. And Father Oscar Morada, who is the not the senior priest, but he is the person who manages and oversees the treatment center for the returners. The other face that's not associated with the school, but is present kind of on site if you need to call on them, is Natalie H. That's your division contact. She is a former Oracle, former seer, but lost her powers. But she knows Barcelona. She knows the situation here. And so she is on call to help, though she is not to be put in harm's way, has been very clearly stated to you. So those are kind of the civilians that you've met. You haven't met yet with any of the returners themselves. But you have done some investigations. There is a weekend book fair that is going on right now, and we kind of had some scenes with the group, talking with students, speaking with them about things, picking up some clues there, and also looking at the main section of the university. Again, we've got more of a church side with the psychiatric care facility, the old stone church buildings on one side. There's a under street walkway that leads over to a little more modern area with a gathering space, which is where the book fair is taking place. We have Complexity 8 Mystery. We have 4 facets currently on the table. And again, there are some moves that allow you to rewrite facets. So these are the facets as they stand right now. And that is the question of the floral deaths, essentially the status of the returners, what's going on with them, what's their connection with this, if anything, the harbinger itself, who we don't know about, and the door of power itself, the thing that they are trying to open. And we have 5 clues, and I'll just briefly go through them again. The packet of vibrating seeds, the carved figure carrying a noose that was found on the kind of old stonework discovered by Wendell in the walkway between the 2 sections of the seminary. Samuel uncovered when he broke into the office of Father Murata. In his safe, found a dissertation, seemingly unpublished, basically looking at the role of monsters, people like yourselves, in Franco's Spain. I believe it was Amanda that, in asking around at the various bookstalls and things like that, and talking to students, found out that there are some kind of underground publications and zines, including one that seems to be an expose on this facility and its hidden history as a training ground for exorcists. And then the last thing was a set of very old, ancient-looking keys, but has a more modern key fob attached to it, one of those find a key things. And so that is kind of where we're going to be taking up. I'm actually going to kind of cut us forward a little bit, uh, probably more towards morning, that kind of thing. What I'd like to do is have the group together to talk about, well, imagine that all these things have been shared, but to talk about next steps. One of the other things that was mentioned as a wish for this session is that we definitely get a little more chance for the PCs to talk with other PCs. So let's do that group kind of conversation, and then we'll kind of move and maybe do some pairings up so we can have people talk to one another. I know that in particular, there was I believe it was, we wanted to get a Wendell Rosebud scene in there as one of those things. So they have the equivalent of some rooms set aside for visiting scholars and things like that. It's like a very basic hostel type setup, singular rooms, shared showers, that kind of thing. They have cleared that and set that up for you. And I imagine you're down in the morning in the most sterile, fluorescent lit little area with a coffee maker with coffee pods, and some packaged Danish that you're not sure about the age of them, and there's no real creamer. It's just a little pull open packets and things like that for all of that, and we'll see the 4 of you there. Samuel, what's your mood this morning?
my mood is, since I still have the despairing condition, I think Samuel is quite gloomy. And is keeping to himself. No, I do want to reach out to other monsters. I just don't know how.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's frame up where everybody's at, and then we'll kind of like
Mhm.
start the convo. And Amanda, like when we see you, what are you doing? How do we know how you're feeling right now?
I still have the condition defensive.
Okay.
So I think I am throwing myself into work because I need to prove that I am actually, yes, I'm worth it. There's a reason that I'm here, and it's a good one. So I think what Amanda's doing is maybe going through newspapers and but tends to get distracted if there's another book lying around. Just but still a little squirrely, like she's not just looking for the mystery clues, but for other stuff, which
Okay.
is maybe a subconscious thing.
Yeah, you've got that zine. There
Mhm.
definitely old magazines that have been left here, but also certainly there are some of the local papers that we see you kind of going through. When you go through a book, um, uh, do you mark up a book? Are you just looking through it? Are you folding it? Like, how do you read through these things?
I think Amanda is sometimes a little frustrated because she has actually to read them. She can't just input the books, right? She has to look at them and then read them, and she thinks it's going slow. Everybody else would probably say, "Hey, are you even reading it or just skimming it?" Because she's very fast actually, but to her it's like, no, I remember being able to just have the information when I get some data, but it doesn't work like that. So yeah.
Excellent. And Wendell, where are you at? What do we see you doing here?
Uh, I think Wendell, like, I have the condition lonely. I think I'm just like going around being awkward, trying to bother people to talk to me, but they're kind of engaged in their own little thing. So I'm kind of like, I'm often hovering in doorways, like, so, how do you think it's going?
Um, Wendell, if you have time, I would appreciate some help here.
Oh, oh, certainly.
Um, and I sit you down at the table, and hand you the dissertation. And the dissertation speaks of an quote unquote angelic messenger being involved in that program under Franco. And I'm like, I feel that this has to do with me. I just can't piece it together. Like, it's this is messenger, this text is speaking of, that is me. However, it is before the things happened, before I got shown the way.
Hmm.
And
As
I know you know better than anybody else how it feels to lose knowledge and to lose information and yourself. Maybe you can have some advice for me.
I think I can help you actually. And as I'm holding it, you can see like I'm flipping through the pages, and each time I've held a page, the ink starts to like bleed through and run a little bit, and the paper like frays spontaneously. And I would like to use my move, the better to eat you with, my dear.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let me get Rosebud's reaction, and I'm going to come back and we'll trigger that move.
Yep.
Just to kind of frame up so we know where everybody is at here. Rosebud, this is your first time with the team. This is your sort of first morning scrum. And they're all kind of in their slightly their own worlds until Samuel connects with Wendell. What do we see you doing? How are you feeling?
Um, so Rosebud's very excited, but she doesn't know what to do. Currently, she's still in the form of a hologram of a 13-year-old Spanish girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so she's essentially, and Rosebud doesn't sleep.
Okay.
She goes elsewhere sometimes, so she will go inert, but she doesn't actually sleep. So she doesn't have a schedule or anything. And so she's basically standing out of the way, um, and you just see her, and she's sort of scuffing one of her feet, except that she's lost a little bit of the correct dimensions, so the foot that's scuffing is actually turned backwards.
Yep.
And then the other thing is she's humming to herself, but the sound doesn't come from her. It's a few inches off to the side because she's a little distracted. Um, and so she's just standing there very not stiff, but not really moving. She has a tendency, so one of her features is perfect hair, and that's
Hmm.
partly because when she creates an image, she forgets to update it.
Okay.
And so she's still, except for the foot that's twisted and going, you know, like that. And then, like I said, there's some sound that's originating a little bit off to the side of her humming.
Do you
Um,
think that is a kind of consistent drift when you take a self? Do you get that kind of decay, or is it more a product of Rosebud's like losing a little bit of general focus?
it's a combination of focus. I thought about this, and I
Hmm.
don't think she just automatically decays, but if she loses focus, that affects things. The other thing is she really doesn't know what she's representing. She
Hmm.
only like she's working from the data that the crystal has collected about reality. And so it's just she sometimes combines things in ways that wouldn't make sense in the physical world.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. Uh, Let me come back to the Samuel Wendell thing. So we've got two moves here that can be triggered. Samuel, you're kind of leaning towards reveal your heart. Um, and Wendell's got their move for the better to eat you with. Which one do we want to trigger first? Do we want to trigger Samuel's first, or do we want to trigger Wendell's first here, you think?
I think Samuel's makes sense to go first since I'm like digesting it while we're talking.
Okay.
Mm. Also, I
Uh,
think Review My Heart is just quicker, and then we
yeah,
can focus on the much more interesting to better to eat you with.
sure. So do we have any more darkness tokens that you generated? How much do you want to spend here?
Let me just quickly see. I don't think I do have any. Um, no, I don't. Or maybe I can. Yeah, I claim. mm, embody a condition that affects me. That's what I actually did. So I claim 2 for that,
Okay.
and I will also just go ahead and spend them.
Okay. Then let's have you roll.
Mhm. I'm so silly. That's a 5.
That is a 5. So,
Do I
uh,
have any bonds? Yeah, I do actually have a bond with Wendell, but that doesn't help. It
yeah,
only
you'd have
brings
to
it to
spend
6.
three bonds
Yeah,
to get it up.
yeah, yeah. No, no.
Um,
So what does it do on a
I
fail?
think there is a moment you've handed Wendell this dissertation, and this is me putting a tick on the doomsday clock.
Hmm.
And I think there is a moment when the world shifts around you
Hmm.
and you will get a distinctive vision of another time, maybe even another space here in Barcelona. But it is definitely, you see this place during 1930s. What do you see, and what do you see yourself doing in that vision?
I see myself um, sitting on a perch, maybe on top of a church, looking down on the city and seeing the fascists bloodily beating down the resistance. And I smile and I nod, for I have orchestrated that. And I've orchestrated that with the help of the Spanish Church, the Spanish Catholic Church, and maybe even with the help of no, not with the help. That seems like I'm helping. I am orchestrating, enlisting the help of maybe Father Morata's father.
Yeah,
And using the church as my tool to sow division amongst
right.
humanity.
You see them, in that uniform, young man, the uniform of, I think they want to say the brown shirts in
Mhm.
Franco, Spain, but I can't remember exactly. But yeah, definitely we'll see that. Why don't you mark a ruin for me as well, I
Absolutely.
think.
Absolutely.
Um, and then that's done. That vision is gone. How do we know what do we see of your reaction in the moment?
I think Samuel does something that Wendell has never seen Samuel do outside of the field before, and that is that he takes off his sunglasses, and this um, golden light shines out, um, and these mad flutes just sound and are audible in the room, and the shadows flow out from under Samuel's trench coat and envelop him for a second before he like takes control again, um, and everything like dials back down, and he's the old Samuel.
You, okay?
I just remembered something I am not keen on remembering.
Well, I hope it's better than forgetting.
It's not.
Wendell, you've got this key in your hands. Um, uh, how many, or rather, let's see here. Uh, you are feeding on this dissertation essentially.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, I think that there is in this a lot of rumor and speculation, but there's also a lot of first person testimonies from people about their interactions with different monsters, utilized by Franco to keep people in line or enforce things. And so many things feel so familiar to you in this. Um, uh, do you think you become sharper or more diffuse? What do you think your reaction is in terms of your body to this and the hole that you have in yourself?
I think my instinct is to clench, so I think I become sharper and more defined as I'm like I recognize these things, but I don't know them. So I'm like desperately clinging on to what I got more than I did before.
I think one of the things that will strike you as you get to the end, there is a description of this angelic figure that Samuel has identified as maybe themselves. Uh, and it's described as doing some truly heinous and horrible things. But the thing that strikes you is that the tone of the voice, the description of Samuel is like a lover describing someone that they love and trying to apologize for it in the moment. Um, and it is attributed, it's in brackets to indicate that this is probably a code name, but it's attributed to Lilith, this description of Samuel. Why don't you mark lustful for me?
All right.
I think you'll feel that come through there. Um, what two questions do you want to ask here?
Uh, what do my teeth tear away to reveal someone else's hunger?
I think that you know that Lilith is somewhere around here. And I think you can sense their hunger for Samael. Does that seem fair, like a fair answer?
Yeah. And
And what's your second question?
how does my blood purify the key and lead me to another?
I think you will point, it should definitely point you that there were a lot of monsters here in Spain, and they aren't here now. And we've also got these returners, and they all come from different worlds. And you're wondering, like, are any of these monsters that are mentioned in this dissertation, are they in fact some of those figures that stole these people away? Indicating there's a continuity, a history there. Does that seem like a reasonable sort of direction to point you in?
Yeah.
Okay. Amanda, there's been some discussion here about things.
Yep.
Uh, you see that interaction with Samuel and Wendell. Rosebud is kind of waiting to see what comes next. You've been in the field before. What are you saying to the group, like to say where you're going to go, or to suggest direction, or to gather them together, like if we come to you?
Yeah, I was listening in, and at one point I was like, I also know things about having memories implanted and stolen and stuff, but okay, Samuel doesn't think that is relevant. Fine. I'm defensive right now, right?
Okay.
So I am a little miffed. I will take darkness tokens from that.
Okay.
And then I will say, well, that's all that is an interesting point actually, because we know that there have to be dimensional rifts around here, right? And I think maybe we should kind of try to figure out where they are. I mean, I know I wonder if these weird structures in the city have anything to do with that. So maybe we could go investigate that, or at least one of us or two of us should talk to one of the returners, right? And I would nominate actually myself to talk to the returners because I am pretty good at reading people. I think maybe, yes, I am. So maybe we should split into groups of two, and yeah, I'm staring at Samael, and I want you to go with me.
Uh, uh, Rosebud, what's your reaction to that?
So Rosebud is currently incorporeal. You see a sort of shimmering up in a corner of the room. and at the moment, I'm just waiting for interaction from somebody else.
Okay. Um, so Samuel's nodded to going along with Amanda to talk to the returners. Uh, and now I think folks with Rosebud kind of waiting, folks turn to you, Wendell, as if to say, okay, what are you and Rosebud going to do?
I thought I was gonna go for the returners, but
Well, there are a number of them, so you could all go and split them up, or you could go and do something else.
assuming that there are some of the returners who like stick around the place where they live or whatever, I want to go find the ones that don't want to stay around the church people.
Okay, okay. Yeah, let's kind of split that into two scenes then. Does that seem reasonable? Okay. Uh, we'll kind of cut forward to
Can we have a brief scene before that?
oh,
Because
please,
somebody needs to
absolutely,
scrape
yes.
Rosebud out of the corner.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Um, Rosebud, it looks like Wendell's kind of indicating that you're to come with them.
She has no awareness.
Okay. Wendell, you'll realize that Rosebud isn't reading the room.
Hey, I'm unsure what to call you besides your name. Do you want to come find some outcasts?
So the shimmering pauses and then drifts down your way and reforms into the shape of a 13-year-old Spanish girl. Although she's different than she was before. And she's like, "What was that?"
Uh, you'll have to be more specific.
All of the golden energy. What was that?
Um, Samuel is a big thing. Lots of things can go on.
That's a different part of reality.
Yes, he's made of a different part of reality, I think.
Oh,
We call those angels generally.
the golden lights are angels?
I'm not. I'm a metaphysician, not a theologian, but yes.
Angels. Oh, okay. Thank you. She just stands there still.
All right,
Nice.
come on.
She follows
So,
behind you.
yeah. So I think we'll see the four of you uh, meeting up with Father Murata, who's there, still a little anxious and nervous about this. And he will say, uh, so, yes, certainly we can talk to the returners, and uh, one of them is not on site. They're over in the gym. Um, so you're welcome to track them down there if you want to speak with them. They tend to get up very early and work out. Physical exercise and such is very much a solace for them, for better or worse. Um, uh, so that's Augustina. If you want to see that, and Wendell kind of does that seem like the person like kind of who's avoiding the care facility that you want to track to?
Yeah, unless there's someone who's like literally run away.
He says no, the others are still present here. Augustina, he pauses. She doesn't do particularly well in group. So a little more antisocial than the others. But I don't want to describe her experience to take her words away from her. So you can speak with her about that if that's all right.
Thank you.
And he'll turn to you, Samuel and Amanda, and he will say, right now, I know that the Petrali sisters are up and in the courtyard of the facility. So if you want to talk with them, I can take you there. I should warn you that only one of the sisters is communicative. Aleka has, as far as we can tell, not spoken since they returned. Their sister is very protective of them. So just be aware of that.
I have a question. These people, those who return, no, I have two questions. Sorry.
Yes?
Are we sure they were from this dimension? Or might they have been from something adjacent, I guess?
And you see him stop. Clearly, this is not a question that has ever occurred to him. He's like, well, in the case of the Petralis, they have family here. So I know that they're from this world, I think. I don't know if that's proof. I don't understand how alternative dimensions would work, but they seem to be. Certainly, there were people that claimed them. For Augustina, that's a little harder in that she and all of her siblings were taken, and two of them came back. Um, uh, but I think that she's from this world. I certainly have no indication to suggest that they are not from this. You see him stop again. Dimension. Is that a thing that happens?
Oh, yes, it is. It is. I'm not from this dimension, so that's why I'm asking.
What? And you see him stop, and he's clearly trying to like parse. Okay, these other worlds that these people are taken to. Is that another dimension? What's going on? And you see him kind of because finally you see him look up, and he clearly has decided that he's just going to wipe that away from his mind. And he goes, "Okay, well that's good. All right then. Let
Second
me."
question. Second
Oh,
question.
oh, oh, you
Sorry.
had a second question. Is it
Yeah,
about
yeah.
alternate dimensions?
No, it's
Oh,
about
good,
the
good. Please, thank you. Then,
returners.
then yes, please ask.
Did they come back with weird powers?
Not so far as I
Okay.
know. In fact, it's kind of a problem. Um, uh, Carlos, who was the young returner who was killed, um, in his world where he was, uh, he had to do things through some kind of magic or interface. Um, when he came back to our world, he had a very hard time because he couldn't do that. And because he was so used to using that magic, those ways to do things, uh, it was very tough for him. Um, I don't believe any of them have like gifts as far
Okay.
as I know.
Okay. That is interesting. And I'm trying to look like I know what what that might
Okay.
signify.
Yeah, there is that moment where he kind of leans forward like he thinks you're going to say something more and then realizes you aren't. He's like, okay. Uh, uh, yes. And he directs Wendell and Rosebud to where the gym is. And let's start with Samuel and Amanda. He will take you again. Samuel, you've been in here before. It is the very sort of clinical building, meeting rooms. There are dormitory quarters upstairs. It's a little bit nicer than the hostel. It's clearly done to be a little bit more comfortable environment, but kind of enclosed, a shared kitchen, that kind of thing. But it's definitely in a square and will take you into the inner courtyard. It's not a big garden, but it is a a garden here. There's looks like they've got kind of a shared vegetable and herb garden in one part, and then a more of a flower garden that you're guessing is probably tended by the groundskeeper for the seminary as a whole. There's a few little pathways. There's a very small kind of running bird bath
Mm.
there. A little picnic table and things, basically, so if they want to sit and do group outside, they can do that. Um, it's pleasant if kind of basic. And Amanda, Samuel, you will see a pair of young women. One of them is in a wheelchair. The other one, who seems like probably older, is uh, pushing her along, and kind of stops her there, and sets her sister by the bird bath, and uh, goes and gets a thermos of tea and kind of brings that over to her. The younger sister takes it but doesn't drink. And at this point, the the older sister Melina will notice you. You're guessing from her reaction that Father Morales has told them that there will be uh, investigators, and she definitely looks at you, stands herself up straight, and doesn't block your view, but definitely makes sure that she's standing between you and her sister.
Just one thing. While we're on our way there, I think
Yeah,
Amanda
yeah.
will turn to Samael and say, I know some stuff about memories and losing memories and getting memories, right? Wendell's not the only one.
Yes, yes, I know. I apologize if you felt rejected there.
I know I haven't, maybe a little, but it's fine. It's fine. Wendell is apparently maybe the expert. At least I
Well,
don't.
he, I think he knows more than maybe we both do about the pain that forgetting can cause.
Why would you think that? Why would you think that? What makes you say that? Why would he know more? My entire memory has been overwritten. Why would he know more about that than me?
I apologize. I just thought because you are so young
I
and
don't
you
know if I'm young.
only
That's the
seem to.
thing. That's the thing. I don't know anything about myself. That's why I seem young, maybe because I don't know. I might be older than you, but who's to say?
Who's to say? Who's to say indeed?
Yeah.
You only ever seem to gain knowledge, not lose it.
I exchange knowledge. I have so much, but none of it makes sense.
And
Or some of it makes sense.
lately I feel like I'm avoiding knowledge.
About yourself?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, I've never thought about that. I've never thought that learning who you are might not be a great thing, actually.
Not when you try so hard to be something else than you apparently are, and have been for most of existence.
I still wish I knew,
I
even if it
understand
was
that.
bad, I mean, you can move away from that at least. You have a point in your life where you're moving from, towards, or away. And I don't have that. And I'm opening my heart to you now.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So have you already marked tokens that you've generated?
I have a lot of tokens.
Okay. So how many do you want to spend? We always check in at the end of a move to see if you're over the limit.
I mean, we don't have a lot of sessions, so I won't spend any tokens, so I will roll over just to trigger the move.
Okay. Let's have you roll reveal your heart, and then
Yeah.
we'll do torn between.
Yes. Wow, okay. I actually I rolled too high, which I didn't expect.
Hey, so I think
What?
that there is a bit there in that moment.
Oh yeah, I love that.
A moment of closeness, but also your that weakness that you're showing to Samuel. So there's going to be a question that you ask each other. So let's start with you, Amanda. The question that you're asking to Samuel. So Samuel's going to answer this, which is, how do I scare you at this moment? Samuel, how do you answer that question? How is Amanda scaring you?
She's scaring me because she proves to be so much more strong and in control than I could ever be by facing um, the option of accepting what you've done and moving forward.
Okay. And Amanda, how does Samuel scare you in this moment?
I mean, he's if he wants to forget who he was to Amanda, that seems like this must have been so bad, right? To choose to forget who you were, that must, wow. Ugh. No, that is a scary thought.
Okay. So we've got those in the play. Samuel, you now have to pick one of those choices there. Either you tell them how fearful you become, and then we reset their darkness tokens, which will mean that we don't trigger the torn between, or you take a bond with what the darkness demands of you, Samuel.
I'm just reading it for myself for a second.
Yeah, no.
I forgot.
It's the first time we've hit this result, so I'm
Yeah,
interested.
that they now have. So if I choose the first option, Amanda gets the tokens.
Yeah.
And if I select the second one, I gain the bond.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, it's an easy choice. I could take the bond.
Okay, take the bond. And Amanda, what choice do you want to make?
I don't have a lot of bonds, but I don't care. I will say that I am 3 scared, I guess. So you get 3 darkness
So
tokens.
so fairly fearful of
Yeah. I mean,
Samuel.
this is really scary. It hits at the core of Amanda's being.
Okay.
Like you want to forget who you were.
So Samuel, you'll set your darkness to 3.
Mhm.
And then Amanda, what is it that we see of that battle that you're having, that torn between there? You're torn between your monstrous nature and your human heart, but more like you're torn between right now and what the darkness is asking of you. Like, what do we see of that? And then you get to pick one of those results there.
I think the letters, the colorful letters that run across Amanda's face, they darken. And they start to run almost like ink would be running, bleed out of these letters. And for a moment, when you look very closely, you can see that these are not actually letters, these are tears almost in this reality. And I think she's really struggling to hold this together, to not just tear open another pathway where she's from. And I think, ooh, yeah, I think this is actually, it escapes a bit from her, so her monstrous nature shows.
Okay.
And somewhere, and this is hopefully before we arrive at where the girls are, somewhere there is these letters appear on objects that are close to her, and some of them will just fall apart almost. And I'm taking the balloon.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
Let's do this on that note. Let's take our first break. We'll take 10. We'll come back with Wendell and Rosebud, kind of frame into their scene, their interactions on the way, and then we'll kind of alternate back and forth. So take 10, and then we'll come back.
See you then.
So, Wendell, Rosebud, I think we will see you leave from the little guest hostel there, and heading across. They still have the underground passage, kind of like the equivalent of police taped up. So you kind of have to go out and cross the road to get to the other side of the campus. So there's that early morning smell of a city, the kind of the slight diesel smell, and maybe there's a tiny bit of rain last night. So you get a little bit of that moisture in the air and the start of things early morning. People are getting their coffee and snacks and things and heading to work or stuff. And you will come into the courtyard of the other side where, you know, the book fair doesn't start till the afternoon. So like tables are covered with tarps and cloths and things like that. But there are a lot of people out there sitting and having an early morning breakfast, coffee and smoke and all of that. Um, Wendell, like, this is really the first time you've worked with Rosebud, right?
Yeah.
So what's your take on them?
Well, right now it seems like, especially with this girl avatar that they've adopted, it kind of feels like having a rookie with you. Uh, and I think Wendell is generally unsatisfied with being the one in the lead in any sort of way.
And Rosebud, what do we see of you on this sort of jaunt over?
Could you say that again?
As you head over, like, what do we see of you? Are you kind of following behind Wendell? Are you trying to stay beside? Is your avatar changing at all? Like, what do we see?
Yeah, so Rosebud is following exactly 4 steps behind Wendell everywhere he goes. She's in a very demure sort of posture. Um, and at this point, um, she's probably the only thing somebody might notice if they are watching her closely is that uh, sometimes um, the the shade of her school jacket changes tone.
Hmm.
It stays within a general range of whatever blue or black or whatever the school's clothing is, but just every so often the tone will drift off if she's focusing on staying perfectly behind Wendell.
Uh, Excellent. Uh, so we'll see the two of you arrive at this gymnasium. It's small. You're pretty sure they don't have a pool or anything like that. There's a little reception desk, maybe 6 machines there, some free weights, but there's definitely a room that's kind of glass wall that has a wooden floor and high walls that may be used for teaching or things. I'm going to sneeze here. Hang on.
Prosit.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, and there are some people, doing their clearly their morning routines and stuff. But I think your eyes will immediately drawn that they're the woman that you're looking for is in that glass room. There are some mats down, uh, but uh, she is maybe about 5'11", 6 feet tall, uh, clearly works out. Like in that seems that kind of obsessive toned look. But she is swinging a big old broadsword in there. And she is going through like not exactly a kata, but she is you know practicing swinging the sword with very very strong clearly you know muscle memory motions of fighting with that sword. Um, and she definitely gets some attention. Like there's certainly people who are working on the exercise machines, but watching her do this. How do you two want to approach this?
I think Wendell just kind of like stops in the doorway, starts blushing a little bit. Rosebud, get up here where I can see you.
Rosebud walks to Wendell's side.
So, have you ever questioned anyone?
Yes, I question people frequently.
Like, we'll get to the differences. And I'm gonna try to get her attention by clearing my throat.
Okay. Um, she'll look over at you as you come in. They definitely have the sense that she noticed when you kind of opened the glass door and came in, and the two of you are standing there, and she will stop and look over and kind of keeps her eyes on you as she walks over to a bench and grabs a towel, sets the sword by her sort of upright in that way that says, I can grab this sword up at any time. And looks at you and says, yes.
Uh,
So, a man or Rosebud's going to turn out of view to the side of the door. She's going to manifest a white kitty in her arms, and she's going to come back with a nice soft white kitty that she's petting.
Definitely will see Augustina's eyebrow arch at that. And she says, you must be, and she pauses because a 13-year-old with a cat, the investigators?
yes, some of them. I hate to be asking such a basic question, but do you remember anything from when you were gone?
She looks at you and she goes, I remember everything from when I was gone.
Excellent. Do you by any chance remember a man holding a noose?
King Zebra did not hang people. That was not the way of dealing with rebels and traitors.
King Zebra, you say?
See her pause, and she says, King Zebra was the one who brought my brothers and sisters and I to his realm to save his kingdom. That's who King Zebra what is.
And how did you get out from under his grasp?
You see her, the reaction she has when you say it that way, you see her kind of, she's fighting with herself here to answer about how she's going to answer this. And you see her kind of stop and steady herself. And she gives you the answer that clearly people want to hear, that clearly Father Murata wants to hear in that kind of practiced way, that way that says, this is the right thing to say. She says, one of my siblings realized that King Zebra was not good and that we were his tools to carry out his will in the kingdom, that we were, as my brother said, not fighting for the greater good. And he rebelled against King Zebra, and he sent myself and my brother back. My other siblings died. I did not accept that at the time. I I still thought that King Zebra was good, but I have since come to understand that no, he was not. So that's how my brother and I came back.
Hey, I approach.
All right.
So Rosebud walks with little tiny steps very slowly up close to her.
Definitely like she settles back a little, like she's still very, you can tell that she's defensive when you kind of get in her personal space. Yes? Are you an investigator? You seem a little young.
It just looks weird. It is weird too, but Rosebud's all right.
She'll make eye contact with you, Rosebud.
Okay. Rosebud reaches up her hand, but clearly within view, and then her hand becomes like sort of dissolves into sort of like an energy cloud as she wants to reach out gently and touch like um the arm
Okay.
and then step back. Thank you. And then she backs up back towards Wendell.
What was that about?
I was tasting your reality.
What does that mean?
I was trying to identify what other realities have merged with your transubstantial being.
The only other reality is the realm of King Zebra. I mean, that I went to. It's just this world otherwise.
I wished to find if King Zebra's reality is in our database.
Augustina,
Yes?
I have a particular ability uh, that, based on how you've answered our questions so far, I want to ask, would you like me to take away your memories of King Zebra?
No. She says that like solidly, like the moment that she realizes what you're asking, she says no.
Why not?
And see her rack her brain for how to say this in a way that doesn't make it sound like she still loves and obeys King Zebra and wants to go back there. And she says, because because my family that passed are intimately tied in to what happened. I I don't want to lose any of that. I don't I can't risk that. It's just me and my brother that are left, and the others are gone. So you can understand that, right?
Yes. So your still present family are safe? Yes?
See her stop. And she says, I think so.
In that
Um,
case, would you like to go back to him?
see her stop there. Did Father Murata tell you to ask me that?
I only knew your name before coming here. I am a creature of want, of need, more accurately. I can... It's oozing off of you, dear.
You can tell she's just on the edge of accepting what you have to offer. And she stops herself and she says, no, thank you. No, thank you. And she'll stand up and pick up her sword and she will say, uh, I need to shower. If you need me, you can find me later.
The offer stands.
She looks shaky when you say that. Um, I, I think that you can smell the desperation coming off of her, and she says, "What are your names?"
They call me Wendell, and that's Rosebud.
And what's your cat's name, Rosebud?
Jelly donut.
Jelly donut. That's a cute name. I I had a sister who was just a little bit younger than you are. She liked cats. I should go. And
Goodbye.
she right. And she will kind of walk past you, trying not to make eye contact with you as you leave. I'm going to cut back. We'll come back to you, but I want to cut back to Samuel and Amanda again. The garden. We see the sisters there in the garden with Melina definitely, standing, and she will greet you. She says, "Good morning. Father Murata said that you would be coming."
Yes, yes. We are just curious about what happened to you too. Maybe we can help others.
You are.
Oh, um, I'm Samael. This is Amanda.
Uh, uh, I am Melina, and this is my sister Aleka. Um, so Father Murata hasn't given you the story.
No, no, we don't know anything yet. That's why we're here. We only knew that you were at some other place and you came back. And there are others like you. And we would like to find out
Yes.
what the commonality behind all of that is. And maybe how we can help you. Somebody says with the softest angel voice.
Okay. And she'll nod and she says, uh, we were in a different place than the others. Um, my sister, it was just a few weeks before she was to be married. And she vanished in a way that was unnatural, that I just knew was not right from a locked room. The room different when I went in, and I knew she wouldn't have left. She wouldn't have dared. She wouldn't have left. And
Wait a minute, she wouldn't have dared?
uh, sorry, there's a misspoke. Uh,
Oh,
she she wouldn't have left, especially so close to her wedding day. And I spent time looking into it and speaking with people who knew something of the occult and of and you'll I don't mean this as an offense, of monsters. And it took me a few years, but I was able to trace to the realm that she had been stolen to. And I followed and I was able to rescue her. And I was only there for a brief time, and I was able to bring her back to this world, though her time there had affected her, as you can see.
Yes. You've done a great service following all the worlds, wandering all the worlds and all realities to get to her.
It was not easy, but it was worth it. She's my sister.
I understand. Can you talk about what you saw there?
I know that the lord of the place was called Edes. It was a beautiful illusion, a realm of trees and plants and flowers and waterfalls and gossamer and silk to hide the prison that it was for my sister. She was alone there. There were invisible servants that were her wardens who took care of her. But I knew these are illusions. This is how the devil tempts us and tricks us with such promises and things.
That is more true than you know. Do you? How did you? How did you break her out? How did you get past the invisible guards?
I suspect that because I came from the outside without warning, they did not see me. I don't know. Um, I was able to make my way to her and take her up and break her of her programming and and then I used the rituals that I had learned to go there to bring her and I back like a tether.
She didn't want to go back, right?
And she does this thing where she kind of steps just a little half step to the side so that she's kind of blocking your view of her sister. And she says, no, she did not. She had been brainwashed by Ades.
I would like to read the sister.
Okay. And let's, how many darkness tokens do you want to spend on that? You can't hide your heart from me.
I think I still have 6. I think I will spend 2.
Okay. Let's have you
Or
roll.
maybe I'll spend 3 in the hope that I roll
Okay.
pretty high. Let's go. Well, I've rolled a 4 plus 3 is a 7.
Okay. Do you want to spend a bond to get that up to ask
Yes.
questions?
Yes. I have a bond with Ecther. I don't think that's applicable, but I have a
Well, you
bond
can
with
use
what?
that up just because we got that hanging
Yeah.
around. Feel free to burn that.
Okay,
Good old
then
Ecther.
I will absolutely use the bond with Ecther because that reminds me of the situation we had before, right?
Yeah.
Where someone was standing guard, and now we've had this person standing guard, but I want to go to the others, but still it reminds me, right?
Yeah. And the knowledge that Exer was lying a little bit
Yes,
about
yes,
things. Okay.
yes, and I want to get to the truth now.
So what two questions do you want to ask? What's the first thing you want to ask from this?
Question. Okay. I think. Oh, I think what I would like to ask her. Mm, 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 mm. That's so good. Also good.
I know.
What do you wish would happen, I think?
I think you'll reach and like step so you can kind of lock eyes with Aleka, and she looks at you, and you know that desperately in her heart of hearts, she desperately wishes that Ades would come and rescue her and take her back to that place where she was loved and cared for, and in an object of beautiful, beautiful attention. She That is the one thing that she wants.
Yeah,
What is your
absolutely.
second question?
I think I would like to ask, what don't you realize you know? Because that lets me draw a line between a key and a facet of the
Okay.
mystery. So,
So let's look at that.
mhm.
What do you want to what key do you want to draw and connect to a facet right now? And
I
then let's talk about what that
okay.
means.
Okay, I would like to draw I think I would like to connect the status of the returners definitely
Okay.
to the carved figure carrying a noose.
Okay. And what do you think that connection is? Like, what are you hearing? What is that? Well, I'll play on that, but what are you imagining here to start?
Um, I think that may not even be a noose, but it might be some kind of a lasso, sort of a tether, that has been used to drag people back.
Yeah, and I think you'll realize that, and I'll go ahead and do the drop down. We'll connect that to the returns. That this this may be a figure whose task is not to execute, not to murder, but to draw people back to their proper place.
Mhm.
You know, who decides what their proper place is an entirely different question, but it
Mhm.
is a uh, it's an angel of closure
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
love and returning.
Okay. That
Mm.
sounds ominous, weirdly enough.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Uh, so how do you react when you have that realization before I kind of come back to Samuel?
with confusion, I guess, for a moment, because I don't know what path to take, because I think it would be better for her maybe to go back, but I don't know what I need someone to talk to about
Okay.
this whole thing. I think. Yeah.
Samuel?
Mm.
I don't know if there's any move you want to trigger here, or do we
Yes,
want to ask more questions or cut to you and Amanda talking?
all of that.
Okay. Let's start with the questions and move.
Mhm. So I think what Summer is doing is that they sit down on a bench that is kind of standing opposite the sisters, and he is taking off his sunglasses. And this time, it's not this wild, uncontrollable beam of cosmic chaos, but it's more like um, golden, warm dawn sunlight that is bathing the girls. And he says, looking at the older sister, "You've done your sister a great favor. Believe it or not, but I have been in your sister's position, and I too had a brother or sister who came and traveled the world to rescue me from myself. And
You understand how important it is. You understand.
I do, and I do know that she is my. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I do know that she is suffering, and that is a great suffering, suffering of wanting to go back who you were when when you last felt whole?
That's why we are here. We are working hard to recover so that she can
And I'm looking at this.
understand.
Yes, I'm looking at the sister, and I'm just saying, I know it feels cold and harsh and lonely out here in a way that you never thought it could when you still were at the old place. And I can't tell you that it will get better, but I can tell you that it's worth it. And Samai doesn't look as convinced as his voice sounds. And what I would like to do is to what's the move called? Bare my heart, embellish my heart.
Yeah.
Review my heart.
Okay.
Leaning into my sense of despair again.
Okay. I think that's fair.
With 2 darkness tokens that I
Okay.
spent immediately. And that brings me exactly to an 8.
To an 8. So what do
My
you want
heart
to
reaches there.
choose?
My heart reaches there. Choose 1. If they are a PC and they choose to deepen the connection further, they choose 1, 2. Okay. The options are: you grow closer, gain 1 bond on them. They soothe your heart, clear 1 condition. They taught you something important, mark XP. They gave you hope, clear 1 mark of ruin. If you have something off the top of your head, Lau, I would like them to answer in a way that teaches me something important.
I think that there is a kind of a crack in Melina there. She says, it was very hard to do. It was very hard to go and bring her back. And it's just a bit of a crack in her facade. She says, there are moments when I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but I know I did it out of love. I There are moments when I feared that I had done it out of jealousy, that she had escaped. And maybe there was that, maybe that's still there. But I I think I know that I did do it out of love.
If you ever feel like you need to talk to somebody who truly understands, call this number. And I give her the call through to Zadkiel.
Okay. Okay. And I do think that there is a kind of a shaking off moment for her there after that conversation. We'll take that number from you. I want to cut away. When we come back, we'll do the kind of Amanda Samuel like talking scene. I want to do the kind of post investigation, like the Wendell Rosebud scene here. Like, what do we see the two of you in the wake of this conversation uh, with Augustino? Like, what do we see you two doing? Wendell, you've kind of been forced into the lead role here. So what do you think?
Rosebud, you're used to starting from scratch, right?
I am not used to anything.
Perfect, you're getting it already. What do you do when you have no idea where to go next?
I searched the transdimensional records.
Excellent. How do we do that?
One moment. Rosebud becomes a little bit translucent. Very well. What would you like to know?
I would like to know who the Harbinger is here.
One moment.
If this works, I am going to be so angry.
Rosebud becomes solid again, except that her face is a screen, and it starts scrolling through a list of thousands of harbingers.
Okay.
Is
Um,
King Zebra one of them?
let's find out. Let's have you. This does feel like we are grasping for keys, like you're using your your senses of this based on this conversation, based on what you've learned to try and draw a conclusion. Um, so how many darkness tokens do you want to spend on that? What do you think, Rosebud?
Um, so I face a dilemma because I'm not sure that King Zebra is actually a harbinger.
Right?
So I'm not sure that King Zebra is on the list. Um, I'm gonna just roll. Actually, I'm gonna use one darkness token.
Okay.
I'll use one. And let me find my rolling. Okay. So that's 2d6.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't need that.
So, wow. Let me think here. I think that as you are there, you were are running through all kinds of data sets, trying to Harbinger, King Zebra, like find what they've got on that. Maybe there's some stuff you are running through various bits here. Um, and one of the things you get is you're calling up stuff on this place, all kinds of data sets. And I think there is a bit where you'll realize, because of course division is all about kind of changes and comparisons and things like that, that you've been walking around this area, this seminary on that side and this side of the road, and you have very much you've made a map in your mind of the layout, but you also pull up like what the current records are of the map of this and the layout, and they're different. Like you're not sure yet whether they're buildings added or missing. Like there's something different. Like something has been changed here from the recorded maps to what is happening here. And then you two will hear a scream. Coming from, you look over and you see this woman kind of stumbling out of the showers. Um, and she just kind of looks stunned. What do you do?
Is it Augustine or someone else?
It's not Augustina.
Rosebud will drift quickly in that direction, forgetting to actually walk.
Okay. Glide
Yep.
across. Wendell, do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you'll kind of push push past. It's not a big locker room. It's pretty small. There's just like one row of lockers, sinks, and just a couple of open shower stalls. And you will see the water is on, and Augustina is lying there in the shower stall, unmoving.
Rosebud will reach down and determine if she still has coherence as a living entity.
Kind of reach down and touch her. Her body is still warm, somewhat from the water, somewhat from herself, but she's dead.
She has left to a new dimension.
Wendell?
I'm looking for whatever the fuck caused this. I'm looking for something to eat.
Okay. I think you look around, there's no one in here. The woman who screamed, is not in here. There are only two. She is laying there. I think maybe you'll see that like around one of her hands, there's maybe some rope burns around one of her wrists there that look fresh. And then it's flower petals. And the water hits those flower petals, and immediately the shower basin there is just awash with flower petals that jam up the drains, and the water level starts to rise. They kind of float there, and it's a beautiful smell.
I'm
But
going out and I'm gonna find that woman who screamed.
okay, we'll come back to that after the break. Let's take 5 and we will return back. Okay.
It's not zebra with a Z. You're muted.
Yeah. It's zebra.
I was imagining a classic like human with an animal head kind of
Oh no,
deal.
that actually that would have been better. I like that. Um, that would have been more like Aslan with the animal form. Um, so I'm going to restart. Oh, I am still recording. Look at that. Look, I left that in there. Rich is still going to be so mad at me for not stopping the recording during that time. So there's a dead air in that. Which is a long running joke for Rich, the podcast editor who doesn't want dead air. So what I want to take up is sort of like we did that is kind of the before the commercial break there with the finding of the body. I want to give a little bit more chance for that scene, and then we'll come back to Amanda Samuel. So Wendell, you come out, and there's this woman, in her gym clothes. Looks like she's a student, and she looks absolutely freaked out. She doesn't have anything with her. She's absolutely, in shock. And she says, she's dead, right?
Uh, Not thinking too much about what I'm doing, I like grab her by the shoulders and like, what did you see?
Uh, I I was in there. Uh, I saw that she was in the shower. I was getting changed, and then it it smelled beautiful. She kind of pauses, like
Yes,
I
yes, and then
thought someone had spilt, like dropped a bottle of perfume or something, and I turned around and she had her hand in the air. Uh, and I couldn't see exactly, and then she fell to the floor of the uh, the shower. I thought she had a heart attack or a stroke or something, and when I went over, she wasn't breathing. Uh,
her,
uh,
her hand in the air, how, like she was reaching, like she was dangling.
and she stops. She doesn't want to say it, but she says it looked like she was being lifted off the ground. I know. I mean, but I couldn't see everything, so I don't know.
Was she lying to me?
Sorry, what?
She
Um,
said he didn't use. She said he didn't hang people. Was she lying or is this something else?
um, uh, um, and you realized that you still got her in this grip, and I think that she says, can you please let me go?
uh, yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think there is a moment of you kind of coming down. I think we see Rosebud still in the shower. We'll come back to this scene, but I imagine that they are calling the campus authorities right now, and the person at the desk is kind of freaked out. And we're going to cut from that. And I think we'll go to the Amanda Samuel scene, maybe capping that scene with a call about what's happened at the showers. Um, uh, so Amanda Samuel, uh, like the conversation with the sisters is clearly finished. Sh the older sister will say, "I should get my sister back to her room,"
Yes.
and roll away and kind of leave the two of you in the garden there.
Amanda stares after her like, this this is bad what she did, right?
Rescuing her sister.
I don't think I if If you're rescuing someone, shouldn't you ask if they want to be rescued?
Sometimes the person rescued is not seeing clearly.
But didn't you catch on this? She wouldn't have dared to leave, and some other stuff that she said. No, and also this girl, she wants to go back. She wants to go back so badly.
I know.
And I think she was dragged out.
Yeah, that's what I understood too.
So I'm wondering. I think it was Wendell who found the person with a rope in their hand, right?
Mhm.
The carved figure. Maybe it wasn't a noose. Maybe it was something to. I think it was something that's used to drag people away from where they actually wanted to be. I mean, not everybody. I'm fine with being in this reality, but maybe not everybody is.
Mhm.
Are are you fine with being in this reality?
I don't have much of a choice.
What if you did?
If I did,
Oh, I remember something.
what do you remember?
Something about an angel of. Lowell, remind me what that angel's title was, please.
Oh, give me the context again.
That was when I was looking at her, and you said something about an angel of.
So you realize that the connection you made with that figure,
Mhm.
that it's not a
Yeah.
noose, it is a lasso, a thing to
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
take up people, or animals or
Yeah.
whatnot, and that is like an angelic figure,
Yeah.
of both love and, you know, rescue, but also like stealing away from a situation, removing
Mhm.
people from a place.
Yeah. So I will convey this to Samael. That
Mhm.
figure. I think that was an angel, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the expert on angels, right?
We haven't gone into the cosmology of our reality yet. What do we think? Are there different kinds of angel, or are we all coming from the Most High? Like, would I know that character?
What what does Samael believe? It's not a question of what's true. It's a question of what does Samael believe about the angels?
Um,
You know two others at
yeah,
least.
yeah. So I will say I I mean we know that there are other angels. We're working with one of them. I cannot say that I've heard of this particular one, but the Most High is fecund, if nothing else. Um, it is a being, if not a principle of uncheckered, unbound creativity. So there might be all manner of angels,
Okay.
but I can't say that I know this one.
I Maybe we need to find more about this angel,
Yes,
right? Right.
yes.
Um, hmm. If I plunged into Samael's mind to check for this angel, would that count as a grasping for keys?
Ooh,
Ooh, I love that.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
juicy.
I like that. Um, yeah, I think that's an interesting play off of your playbook move.
Mhm.
So it is kind of using your powers of darkness in a way to grab for a key. Um, Here's what I'm going to say. Uh, I think, uh, that you can do that. In addition to whatever cost there is for the 11 plus or the 7 or
Mhm.
less, you're also going to mark ruin because you are kind of
Yeah.
aggressively reaching into
Yes.
one of your fellows.
Yes. And I'm a little sorry about it,
Okay.
but I know that Summer doesn't want to remember these things, and I'm trying to spare them.
Can I pitch something?
Yeah, sure.
That if you ask Samuel, he will go, I trust you, Amanda. I trust you to
Yeah, but I don't.
be careful and to
If
also
it's
be able to handle what you'll find. And then when you go
if it's
in,
a yeah, go ahead.
just when you go in, you'll find that his mind is really tightly walled. And if you like manage to pierce it, then it's like through one tiny chunk. Like even if he allows you to get in, like his inner self doesn't want you in.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That makes sense. Yeah.
How many darkness tokens do you want to spend?
I think I will spend 2.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's have you.
Might be. No, I wasn't asking you to open your emotions. Wow, I rolled a 4, so I'm at 6.
That is
and
6.
I only have 1 bond. Yeah.
So I think that there is a problem here. I think that like you do reach in and do this, but I think perhaps you're also opening yourself up. I think that you're giving like some of yourself away in this. With that move, you do you want to mark ruin to uncover a key?
Absolutely. This is my ruin session.
Okay. So then you mark 2 ruin, one for the 7 or less, and then
Yeah,
one for that.
Oh, I also wrote. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I will give you one in addition to the 7 or less thing. So get to mark 2
Oh,
ruin.
okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
exciting. I think that one of the things that there's a lot of walled memories there, right? It's tied together. It's hard to pull it out. But one of the things that you will see just a fragment of in Samuel's memories is you before division.
Oh.
And Samuel talking or doing something to you.
Oh, okay.
Like that you're not sure what. Samuel maybe isn't sure what. It's all so tightly wound and buried. You're shaking your head. Do you want to add to that, Samuel?
I was just saying that I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay,
I love the idea of having done something to her, but I don't remember.
I mean, it was a book before. Maybe you wrote something in me.
Yeah, maybe.
Something
And that's not meant for a normal book.
Yeah. Probably not.
I think
something imbued with a spark of creation.
That you will see in Samuel's mind, and here's the key I'm going to give you, and we can play with this a little. I think you will see, you're not sure whether it's a physical letter or a an imagining of a letter or something like that, but it's definitely a love letter between Samuel and this angelic figure. And a connection there. And the love letter is essentially saying, I am the one who brings people back to where they are supposed to be, even if it is not where they think they need to be. I am the one who changes the world to restore things as I see them, and you will be back with me at some point. I will bring you back to me, and you will love it when I do that. And it is signed Lilith.
Nice.
And like Amanda, Samuel, what do you think? Like what's the reaction shot? Like what's your reaction to that, Amanda? And how much of that do you get, Samuel? Let's
My
start with
reac
Amanda.
my reaction to that is I will draw back and then I just hold my head like because I think I'm overwhelmed by all of these memories and fragments and things, and I'll just maybe I'll just close down a little, like start humming, and the lettering is kind of losing on my face is kind of losing cohesion a bit. But I think you can read the name Lilith on my face.
And Samuel, how much of that did you get? And what's your reaction?
I think the reaction shot is Samuel's face relaxing in this way that communicates that something has just utterly cracked in him. And then there's the reaction face to Amanda's face, and Amanda is despairing even worse than Samuel is. And then Samuel hugs her and says, I'm here for you. I just a second, I need to take care of something in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Amanda's just frozen.
Frozen, like not pushing away, not reacting like
yeah, maybe some. Oh yeah, the lettering on her face that says things.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
And hugs Amanda and says, I'm there for you, and I'll keep you safe. And Amanda gets the sense that he is, or they are, struggling as hard as they've ever been to keep it together. And what I'm doing is that I voluntarily am about to mark my 5th box of ruin after that, and trigger the "Everything for You, My Love" move.
Ooh,
nice.
When you are about to mark your 5th box of ruin, you may choose to declare your love for the first time, or describe how love has changed you. Ooh. Tell everyone how you bear your heart for all to see. Spend darkness tokens and roll. And I'll this time, because I do want to go for the grand thing, I will give myself 4 darkness tokens for the still ongoing despair.
Okay.
And spend them all.
Can spend up to 3.
And hilariously overroll.
Okay.
That Great. Is like love it.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. No, sorry. I rolled 4 dice. I just add
so 2 dice and add 3.
Yeah. Okay, I'll roll again. But still, it's a natural 12.
Okay.
Wow.
So, and on an 11 plus, you further entangle your beloved in your prophecy. If your beloved accepts your love and the burden of your prophecy, erase your ruin track. If they respond otherwise or not at all, take that as a sign of rejection. Erase 1 ruin and gain 1 bond with the darkness demands of you. Yeah, and as I hug her, I say, I'm afraid I'm on the brink of losing it, and I need you. I need your help.
Yeah, Amanda's frozen.
Ooh.
Nice.
Amanda's just frozen. That is a little too much for her.
Yes.
She's half
yes.
me. She
great.
doesn't know how to react to
that.
To
is a sign of reaction.
It is. Yes.
Samuel, erase 1 ruin, and the darkness calls to you more loudly. The bond is made. Rosebud, is it you or Wendell that calls the others?
Rosebud will update division, and an automated call will just come in saying another death has been recorded.
Yeah, I think there is that buzz of both of your phones at the same time that maybe Amanda, Samuel kind of breaks that moment. Uh, and it literally is a text that says another death at Wendell and Rosebud's location.
I step back a step and like, we should go.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to bring the two pairs together, kind of hard frame, if I may.
Mhm.
Okay. Wendell, how do you know that something weird has gone on between Samuel and Amanda when they come in? I don't think Rosebud would pick up on it, but what do you see?
They enter at just a bit too long of an interval between each other. I'm not sure if it would be Amanda or Samuel that comes in first, but it's like several seconds, even though they arrived at the same time.
Like they don't want to physically touch, right?
If they had the choice, they would probably not even be in the same room.
Uh, so let's do that scene. It's Samuel, Amanda, Wendell, Rosebud. You're in the gym. The campus authorities have shut down the gym. They've called the chancellor. They've called the father. They're going to be on scene. Everyone else is out. I think that they've clearly had to call the Garda as well. So Rosebud, let's let you kind of start out this moment here. How are you informing them? What are you doing? What do we see you in this scene now that the four of you are back? There's some civilians kind of freaking out.
Um, so Rosebud still has Jelly Donut with her,
Mm-hmm.
and she uh she plays a sound sort of like a little musical interlude to
Mm-hmm.
get everybody's attention. And she says, "Please remain calm. All is well." There has
Great, we have a
been,
PSA.
yes, there has been a um, dimensional transformation. It will be fine. Thank you. And she continues to pet Jelly Donut.
And I think as we look over, Chancellor Solaris is talking with the campus security guard, and Father Morales will turn to Murata will turn to Wendell and Rosebud and says, "What did you do?"
Well, and I would like to point out that I have the darkness ability of charm,
Oh,
or
okay.
so I'm actually capable of calming people.
Okay. So let's have you roll that actually. Let's see how this
Okay.
goes. If you as you can see that Murata is about like he is angry. One of the people in his charge is dead. He's about to turn on to the two of you. How many darkness tokens do you want to spend?
Two.
I like that.
So 7 + 2 is 9.
That is a nine. So uh besides like calming them down, which feels like the gain an upper hand choice, like have that work to calm them. What's the other pick that you want
Um,
from Unleash the Dark?
from Unleash the Dark. Okay. That's
Basic moves. It's in that first column, top.
right. Let's see. Um,
I can see avoiding a cost, or I can see exposing a weakness, for example.
Actually, she just wants to confuse them for some time.
Okay. I think that is like Murata turns to like yell at you, and then it clearly loses his train of thought. And in that way, when you've had kind of a, lost your track, and then clearly that calming from Rosebud kind of washes over him. Um, uh, Wendell, what are you doing? What are you saying to Samuel Amanda, or asking or doing here in this moment?
Uh, I think at first I just have a wordless exchange of looks with both Amanda and Samuel, like, okay, okay. We didn't do anything, is the problem.
Did you find something? Anything?
No, not really.
Huh.
But we know now that certainly there's something with using ropes that's around. Before she turned to flowers, she had rope burns or something around her wrist.
Huh.
The witness described her being pulled up.
Um,
Whatever it is, it's toying with me.
I don't know if it's specifically targeted at you, Wendell, but
It feels like it.
okay. Yeah, I think there's and I'm looking at Samael like quickly. There's this, I think there's this angel who uses some kind of rope to drag people between the dimensions.
Angel?
I pointed Samael. I
Yeah.
think you can explain that better than me.
Afraid I cannot really. Might be another one of the Most High's creation. Say Oscar, and he looks at Father Moreta. Pauses for a second. I was like, I remember calling you Oscar. I remember your birth, your confirmation. I remember you taking up that frock. Why didn't I remember that before? What do you know?
We have never met before this.
Does he meet the steely gaze of the angel?
Yeah, I think he looks at you, and he genuinely doesn't know you as you are right now. I, I think you must have me mixed up with someone else.
No. I'm sure of it.
And he does pause because he's just been thrown off by Rosebud, and he does, like, I think he says, "Well, my memory is not what it once was."
Are you from this dimension, or were you dragged over here from somewhere else?
No, I'm from here. I am from Barcelona. I am Catalan. I am from here.
Are you from this Barcelona?
Yes, this is my Barcelona. This is my city.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm just looking at Samael like, you're the one that's supposed to keep your memories. You're supposed to be on top of this. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I've been doing. All I know is that we have an angel running around, an angel that I don't know, that I don't remember.
Wrote you a love letter.
Wait, what was that?
I think the angel, and I'm looking at my feet. I think the angel wrote Samael a lot better. If it's the same angel, but might be from what they wrote.
Do you remember a name, Amanda?
Lilith. I saw
I'm
it
not
in
su-
your mind.
I'm
I
not
do.
sure if that rings a bell per se with Samael, but it should ring a bell with Wendell, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that was in the dissertation. Eh,
And
I may
I
be confusing this with some contemporary media property, but isn't heaven supposed to be very structured? How can you, like, can't you just go ask someone who's,
No.
oh,
I thought me and Satgil were the only ones left. See, the structure in all of the universe. It's the structure we make. The structure that this cult, pointing at the father, follows is given to it by me.
see the father
wait,
take
wait,
a little umbrage at the phrasing of it as a cult.
wait,
There's
wait, wait,
there's
wait, go, go,
there,
go back, go back. You thought you and one other angel were the only ones?
I thought so, yes.
Why?
I don't know. I never occurred to me that there might be more, but it is a stupid oversight to make. Of course there are. Boundless creation is what my father's name is.
Okay, now I'm going to interrupt here on that phrase boundless creation because I'm going to mark another tick on the doomsday clock.
Yes.
Because I think as you say that, you look over and there is, like, on the front desk here, there is like a pot of flowers, the usual stuff, and you will see it suddenly grow and these flowers bloom and actually the blossoms explode out and then another set of blossoms. And I think you look out because the glass front of the gym kind of looks out onto the courtyard, and you will see every tree, flower, plant there blooms. The grass grows, the trees grow leaves, the leaves die, they grow again, roots extend. The air is filled with pollen.
Oh no.
And this place
Oh,
is blossoming and fecund.
Oh, it's
oh,
her.
And
whoa,
that is where we're stopping for today.
Nice.
nice.
And I'll put blooming as our doomsday clock. All right. So let's do our end of session and then stars and wishes. So I believe we're
Is it possible that I can slip in one tiny little bit of something before we end?
100%.
Because it'll be easier than trying to remember it for next time.
Yeah.
So as Samael was talking, if anybody was paying attention to Rosebud, Rosebud would actually drift over and stare very wide-eyed at Samael and then reach out to touch him.
Hmm.
Interesting.
What are you reaching out for?
You're part of the structure.
Yes. An integral part of the structure.
He looks very stunned.
Nice.
Samael, did we hit your impulse
Yes.
Okay.
More than once, actually.
Do you want to
And
mark
I'll mark
XP or
1
ruin?
XP. 1 XP for
Okay.
that.
All right. End of session, we're going to ask you these questions. Did you express your monstrous nature and or your humanity?
Both.
Okay, so mark an
And
XP.
yes, but before I can do that, I need to empty my XP.
Doop, 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 doop. Uh,
Uh, okay.
you get an advance. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Yeah, the boundless creation thing, and that I more involved in like everything than I thought I was.
Okay.
Um,
Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
I learned that Amanda is also much older than I thought she was.
Absolutely. And then the last one is this. I don't think you got a key or tried to unlock
I
Doom's
did
door,
not.
so please mark your fifth box of ruin.
Yes.
And we'll start by checking what that looks like next time,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Amanda, uh, I think we hit your impulse, right?
Yes, we did.
Do you want to mark XP or ruin?
I will mark it. Hmm.
I know. Tempting, isn't
Mhm.
it?
Mhm. I mean, this didn't go too well. I mean, come on, let's mark ruin so I can take a ruin
Okay.
wolf. This
So
is
we'll
fun.
we'll 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 check in and see what that
Hmm.
looks like next time.
Hmm.
Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I think I did, yes.
Okay. So mark an XP for that. Clear your
Yes,
track.
please. Yes. Okay.
Uh, Then, did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Yeah, Summer wrote in me.
Okay. So 1 XP. And did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Yes, I did. Summer wrote in me.
Okay. So that's another
And
XP.
also, he apparently loves me and wants my.
Yeah, I love it.
And
Um, and you did get a key.
I don't know
So
why.
you don't mark ruin.
Mhm.
Let's come to Rosebud. Uh, Rosebud, do you think we hit your impulse today?
So, yes, but Rosebud gets ruined there because it didn't go well.
I think that's fair. Uh, do you think you expressed your humanity and or your monstrous nature?
Um, I get that depends on whether or not all of her inconsistencies count as expressing her monstrous nature.
Yeah, I like that. I also like the fact that you created that cat, like felt like a very human connecting moment too. I think either one of those would mark for the XP.
Okay.
Do you think you learned something about significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Yes, I did because it has suddenly occurred to Rosebud that she doesn't know if she's working for the good guys.
I think that's fair. And I think you definitely learned something significant about a fellow monster, right?
Yeah, actually, she learned something about both Wendell and now Samael.
Yes.
Like, whoa.
Okay. And you did unlock grab a key, so you don't mark ruin. We come to Wendell. Wendell, did we hit your impulse?
Uh, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think you were a little more aggressive and hungry with the NPCs that you interacted with today, right?
Yeah, the impulse I mark usually has very little to do with what I actually end up
Yes.
doing.
Uh, but I do think we saw your monstrous nature and or your humanity. I think that during those interactions, does that feel fair?
Yep.
So mark an XP for that. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I do actually think that it was something new for Wendell to actually be attracted to a regular human.
Yeah, and your reaction to their death felt very strong.
Yeah.
So let's have you mark that. And did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
The fact that Rosebud actually has like a some sort of database that's not just their current experience. I thought they were kind of like isolated, but turns out they can like connect to the internet or something.
Yeah, I think that's fair for an XP there, which will fill your track so you can get in advance. And you didn't uncover a key, so we will have you mark one ruin.
Nice. That's my first ruin.
Yeah, let's work on that. I would like to stars and wishes. Let's start back up top with Samuel.
Mhm. Well, obviously, stars for Sabine for giving me that opening to play my move, and also for that reaction. That was really cool. Also, by like as a side note, it's really cool that Ray put it in the rules like that.
Mm-hmm.
That there is that choice. That's really fun. Also, the talk with Wendell was really nice.
Yeah.
And I don't have any particular wishes. Like I'm
Okay.
very happy right now.
All right. Sabine.
Lots of stars. Stars to Dominic for the whole Amanda Samael connection thing that went rather wrong. Also stars to Wendell and Rosebud. Rosebud for manifesting things. I really love that. I wonder
Yeah.
when she will manifest the universe. But you know, and I also loved Wendell's emotional reaction to the death of this person he just talked to. That was nice. It was nice seeing Wendell being so vulnerable in a way. I like really like that. And star to all the NPCs. The ways that the one sister would constantly misspoke. I mean, that was so great. That I love that.
Awesome. Anything
Wishes.
wishes?
Yeah, I don't know. Wishes. Yeah, no.
Okay.
No concrete wishes. I mean, I
Okay.
can wish for all kinds of things, but this is great as it is. So
All right. More of the same is what Paul always says to me at that moment, and I think that's fair. Uh, Rosebud.
So I was very happy and surprised to see everybody suddenly get much more emotionally vulnerable. And that, for me, actually creates a lot of interesting tension because Rosebud Rosebud doesn't know what to do with all of that stuff. And so it exaggerates her dilemmas. Um, and everybody did a great job. And I really want to repeat what Amanda said. Lowell, you're doing just a great job with the NPCs. There's so much to interact with because of your characterization. As far as wishes go, um, uh, I I want to see some of the things that there were a few things that were discovered last time that I'd like to see sort of re-enter the plot.
Okay.
Um, and but the way the rope is coming in is wonderful. Like that's just pulling everything together, which of course is um, symbolically consistent. So that's great.
Yeah, echoing some of the elements of the keys that we've got already on the table. Okay,
Yeah.
that seems fair. And Wendell.
Uh, I want to echo once again the NPCs were fucking brilliant. Uh,
Thank you.
uh, yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, that's absolutely fair. Yeah. I had a really good time playing them with you guys. Like I love when I have with NPCs that have some rich backstory and emotional reaction that you all of you like worked with it and played with it and bounced it back, and that's what I love. I love NPCs and getting things pulled out of them and shaping their reaction. So that was dynamite for me. And yeah, I do like cliffhangers, so I like when I can stop on a big cliffhanger scene. Thank you all very much. I am going to stop the recording.